everyone, I'm David Wisner. Welcome to another episode of This Day and Age. My guest today is Areti Georgili, who operates a most interesting bookshop in the center of Athens. We'll be talking today about the kinds of activities she was hosting and organizing prior to the outbreak of COVID-19 in Greece, and some of the challenges she faces as she imagines trying to reopen the shop and re-engage with the many constituencies that she works with. A real human rights activist on the program today. Areti, welcome. I'm very happy to see you are well.
Good morning, Mr. Wisner. Thank you very much for inviting me in these interesting sessions. And thank you. I have to thank also the Dukakis Foundation for the honor of inviting me in this. And good morning also to our viewers.
Yes, it's our pleasure, because it seems as if you're doing very much the same sorts of activities we are. And I should announce a disclaimer that it's a mutual acquaintance and friend, Dimitris Boras, who recommended that you appear on the show today, and I'm very happy about that. Tell me a little bit about the kinds of things you were doing in your bookshop prior to the public health crisis that we face today.
Okay, my bookshop is called Free Thinking Zone. It's not the traditional bricks and mortar that we probably have used to know. It means that it's not a traditional shop that you go in, you search your book, you buy it, and you leave. It's an activist bookshop. That means that we are occupied with the protection of human rights and liberty and the enhancing of liberties. And therefore, we have decided, in order not to have another way of funding, but to fund our activities from the selling of books, because we believe that books is civilization, and through the books you can fight racism and xenophobia and homophobia and fight for equal opportunities for everybody. So this is what we do. We work with the groups of volunteers that have chosen one of the activities that I mentioned about before, and we are trying to engage people to be activated in the society for all these social and political issues. And now the things have changed a little bit, so the concept has to change, and we have to find another work to operate and engage people, because our concept was exactly the opposite of social distancing. And now, despite that we are not yet in the lockdown phase, that we are all free of moving around and circulate, we have still to keep distances. So we have to find a way to engage people again.
Okay, but no doubt you have plans, and there's always a need to engage people in the cause of human rights. So what are some of the things you're thinking of doing?
Well, actually, the web sessions and the web book presentations, for instance, all the web activities are not what, it's not the way we have to do our job, because we have to get together people, we have to create networks. In order to create networks, for instance, we have women that have suffered during the lockdown phases. I will tell you one interesting story I need to share with you. A lady had to open, one of my members, the members of the gender equality community, the Leninian community, had faced difficulties in opening the shop. So she was a florist, she is a florist. So she had to close her shop during the lockdown. Now she has to open again the shop. And unfortunately, the poor lady, the first day of the opening, had to broke her leg. So she had to close the store again, because the doctor said that she had to stay home for at least 1 month more. So it was a difficult situation for her, because if she was not going to open the shop, she couldn't survive financially.
Yeah.
So 2 of other members went there and found a way to other women with 2 kids each, mother of 2 each, and with jobs as well, both of them. They tried to find change shifts and try to keep the shop open while she is away with the leg. Okay. So that it's also the opposite of social distancing, to help her. So we
Yeah.
will try to find ways to help our communities and gather together, even if we keep the distances that we have to keep.
Yeah. Okay. It's
But
a
nobody
compliment.
knows. It is a little bit difficult to plan because nobody knows. We don't know if we have to, if we will be allowed to do events again. It
Yeah.
seems that the virus in Greece goes well, it fades down. But nobody knows if we will be able again to gather people in the shop. So nobody can make plans whenever we cannot, when we cannot to, know what the future will bring.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we are planning to do some open events and
Okay.
activities the last 2 months until the end of July. August, anyway, it's a month that we do not plan any kind of events because everybody is away. So
Right.
during June and July, we will plan some open activities. And from September, if we're still in limitations of space and distancing, we will make probably some collaborations with some of other open spaces in order to do our events there.
Okay. Excellent. So, in other words, you have ideas, and it's important to keep going. Can you tell me a little bit about your membership, the people who volunteer, who collaborate with you? You just gave the example of these two people who were helping your friend reopen her shop after she had a terrible accident and hurt herself badly. Tell me a little bit about the kinds of people you work with there in Athens.
Okay, first of all, let me tell you that the important thing about this example that I said is that these three ladies didn't know each other. They
Ah,
met in the shop. They didn't know each other before 1 year ago.
wow.
So what we have managed to do is to bring people that they don't know each other, come together to groups and find common interests, common values, and share help each other in common needs. This is what happened. They came together, they became friends. They helped me with the gender equality issues. So these ladies are now friends, and they are helping each other despite outside the shop, without my presence, without the presence, without the need to be in the shop. So this is what we will try to do for the future. Try to be helpful and useful, even without the need to be in the shop.
Okay.
Another thing that we are thinking is create an e-shop. I will get to your question, but I forgot to tell this before. We need to create an e-shop because in order to fight the chains and the bigger shops, we need and the electronic shops. We
Yeah.
have to create our own shop. We're thinking of a differentiation point. We think of create a different kind of e-shop, which is a little bit specialized in human rights and not a little bit. We will be specialized in, and there you can find anything you need concerning these these values like liberty, like the need for equality, democracy, all these things, social and political issues that probably you cannot find because if you are interested, for instance, in the environment issues,
Right.
you cannot
Right.
find together all the you cannot find anywhere books that concerning the latest books now. So we will probably gather this and group this in this way.
Okay.
So we'll try to do that. It's even one more burden for us because this needs a lot of funding as well. But we will do our best.
Okay.
I believe that with the help of our volunteers, we can make it.
Do you see yourself? I mean, there's a title that people use these days. Do you see yourself as a social entrepreneur, or is that not the right term to use for someone with your concerns and who does the kind of things you do?
Actually, we started. The initial plan was to be a social entrepreneurship, a social business. But
Okay.
the legislation in Greece was not that favorable for social businesses that back then.
Uh,
So we started as a normal common business, a
okay.
profitable one. But now we're thinking of changing that in a social business. If the legislatory framework is a little bit better for us.
Okay.
But anyway, we have the way we work is a social entrepreneur way, a social entrepreneur way. So we're working like that. Anyhow, our profits all are directed to social activities.
Uh,
So we keep our expenses in order to keep the shop open and
right.
pay the operational expenses and the salaries, and the rest we are directing to social activities.
Okay.
So actually, we are not legally as a social business, but we are ethically a social business.
Ah, okay. Okay, which makes more sense, really.
So, I wish the legislatory frame was a better one so that we could be from the initial phase a social business, but we are not have skipped that plan from our minds.
Okay. What are the kinds of social challenges we face right now at this moment? In other words, we have a catalog of human rights abuses, the sorts of problems that plague Greek society traditionally, at least the last since Greece is a member of the European Union, let's say, just to take a convenient date. But are we facing new sorts of problems these days with the lockdown, with the breakout of a pandemic disease that strikes different groups of people differently, that maybe accentuates existing inequalities in Greek society? Are you finding that there are new problems we have to work on?
Well, actually, there are, and the main problem that we have noticed is that the domestic violence has increased a lot the last 3 months. In Greece, we have at least triple. It's triple up the number of people that call in the direct line that the state has provided in order to report the domestic violence. The domestic violence is 75% more toward women
Right,
and 10%, if I remember correctly, against children. The rest is against elderly people, that means our fathers and mothers.
right.
But the majority is against women.
Okay.
So we face more violence, and the more violence leads to murders, femicides. And this is the problem we have to face because in the next months we expect that the women unemployment will grow. Unemployment eventually will grow rapidly,
Right.
and we expect that women unemployment would triple. So I think that we need in the next 3-4 months to focus all our activities in the gender equality issue,
Okay.
the fight against the biases and the stereotypes in the family and outside the family, and the biases in the workplace,
Okay.
because we noticed that if, for instance, a business has to let go some of their employees, two out of four or two out of three that are getting released are women.
Women are the
Uh,
ones who are chosen first
that's
to be let go, to
So,
be sacked.
okay, so we have to fight a lot these symptoms, and we're getting these signs from all over no matter how big the company is, from the smallest ones, from the small gas stations. For instance, my nearest gas station had 3 employees. He had to let go 2 employees, the out of which were women. So he stayed with a man. So we have to fight this. The problem with gender equality, this was huge before the lockdown, and now I sense that we step back in in the progress of the
Mhm.
fight against gender equality. So we need to focus a little bit on that. And in the next month, you will see we will circulate a video, a TV spot that was funded by some of our sponsors, and it's exactly it addresses this issue of the social issue.
Okay. What is the reception of your community, the larger community, and not merely members of your bookstore, but the general population of Athens? Are they receptive to the message? Are they receptive to the information that you're providing on the existence of these sorts of social problems? I mean,
Well,
we're all online now, so it's impossible not to see and hear about the problems that beset society. Do you find that people are somehow reacting in a positive way?
at the beginning was very difficult because it was not a common thing to see a bookshop taking place in some of the social and political issues. For instance, a few years ago, we had an issue with a terrorist. The terrorist was in prison for, I think, if I remember correct, 16 murders against
Okay.
politicians, journalists, and justice people. So this person is in prison, and he has released a book, and it was a problem because we said He has all the rights to write a book, and he has all the rights to the publisher to publish the book. We have the right not to sell the book. So we said we are not selling the book, and because we are not promoting violence
Right.
in the society, we promote democracy and free speech. And free speech, in order to have free speech, you have first to be alive to have the right to freely speaking. If you are not alive, you are not the right to speak. So we cannot, if this person was outside the prison, would we invite him to join a debate? Probably not. So we invite people that our red line is violence.
Okay.
And so the one that uses violence as a way to address his issues is not we cannot invite him to or her to our debates and our discussion. We are trying to promote another way of culture in the public debate.
Okay.
So we say unfortunately we cannot sell this book, but you can buy it from the store nearby. There are plenty of books in Athens that you can buy the shop. So this was very difficult because we had we accepted the insults, we accepted threats for us and our employees and the community. So it was difficult at the beginning because the shop should not be a bookshop.
Yeah.
Actually, shouldn't be allowed to do such things. But actually, I believe, and our members believe, that the bookshop certainly has to be allowed to say that we are against terrorism or xenophobia or racism.
Violence.
Yes. So it was difficult. Now we have been accepted, and we are whatever we say is published. So where they hear our opinion, we gathered more members during the lockdown who had more friends supporting us. Yes, despite the fact that we are working with no events at all, and the coffee shop that we operate in-house, it's not working either, we have managed to save our losses a little bit, to be in okay. So people is supporting us, so we're working with the community that even if they don't buy the book we sell, they're supporting us with other ways. For instance, they found our videos or TV spots.
Okay. I'm kind of curious. So you talk about your members and the reaction of people on social media. What about young people? I mean, you find that a certain group of your community are maybe university students or younger citizens that are learning a little bit how to express themselves, how to find a voice, how to become active in social issues. Is this an important part of your community?
It is a major part of our community. At the beginning of the shop, we started because I am a certain age. So we started with probably my own target group. So we worked with 35, 55-year-old target group. Now our target group is 25, 23, 25, up to 45, 55. Okay. So the majority of our members are young people, mainly students, members of a variety of forums and institutions, for instance, at the Center of Liberty Studies, for instance, or other organizations. They are working together with us and are coming to the shop, for instance, for issues like the LGBTQI community rights and the right to be different, of differentiation against discrimination and stuff like that. And so even if they don't belong to a group, they create a group on their own on our shop. So we have, I feel very proud that we have all these students and young people around us.
Okay, and they're reacting and they're taking the message and making it their own. Okay, this is quite interesting. Now, you mentioned that you have some plans for the summer, and you're hoping that you'll be able to take advantage of open space sorts of activities. Beyond that, I mean, does the fundamental mission of the bookstore change in the next year? Or do you think that the message is still important as is? I mean, are we going to have to react to permanent changes in Greek society as a result of the outbreak of COVID-19?
Well, actually, human rights issues the fight for the protection of human rights never stops. Our mission will never change. We might change the concept of working, the operation of the bookshop, but we will not change our mission. The mission still stays the protection of human rights more liberties, more equality, and equal opportunities for all. This is our mission, and will never end despite any kind of lockdown. Even now, in lockdowns, we have noticed issues in other countries that the lockdown opportunity was an opportunity to minimize rights. So probably we have to be there and have a watch on this kind of issues. Be sure that human rights are protected with or without lockdown.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your own background, if you please. We've not met prior to this interview.
I hope we do. I hope you visit the shop sometime and I can offer you coffee and meet each other, not in this way, but the physical way.
Yes, that would be quite pleasant.
Thank you so much. So, well, my background is archaeology. I'm an archaeologist and historian of art. This is my main background. Then I studied, I had business studies, I had my MBA, I had some business management studies, and I had journalism studies. But I was always, since my teenage years, I was occupied with human rights and political issues mainly.
Okay.
Liberties is my priority, more liberties. And this is why I always thought I am a public relations professional, an image maker. So I thought of for some time, while I keep doing my job, to do something else for the society that's me. So I decided to do this.
Excellent. And now you said that the bookshop is opening little by little. Can you tell us where you're located in Athens?
Well, actually, the location is also a part of our symbolism because it's located between two different, exactly at the crossroads between two different areas of Athens. Kolonaki, which is an expensive area, premium area, and the Exarchia, where all the riots are taking place. So we're exactly at the meeting point. We said that we have to move a little bit Exarchia people towards Kolonaki, and Kolonaki people a little bit towards Exarchia. So we hope they both meet there.
So anarchy meets affluence.
Exactly. Well,
this is
the title.
You maintain a presence on social media. I've seen that you have a Facebook page also.
We have a Facebook page, Instagram page, LinkedIn. We are active, and YouTube channel that we are all on because all our events are recorded and uploaded in our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So we can find everything there. So Free Thinking Zone.
Okay, this is great. I'm gonna sign off now, Areti, but I look very much forward to making your acquaintance. And I'll alert our audience to the fact that we're hosting a series of webinars this week and next week on the future of event management in the aftermath of the lockdown. This week, our webinar is called "The Festivals Will Be Different This Year," and we'll be hosting some prominent organizers of cultural events in Thessaloniki. Next week, we'll be doing an event with hosts of academic and scientific conferences, people with whom we've collaborated in the past, some of our friends in Thessaloniki, and some of the markers, let's say, in the local event ecosystem in Thessaloniki, and how they are trying to maintain a presence, keep the connection with local citizenry open, and do meaningful sorts of activities that add to the cultural life of our city, Thessaloniki. We're not in Athens. Maybe one day you'll open a branch of your bookstore in Thessaloniki, Areti. Thank you very much once again for appearing on the program. We'll sign off now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.